Two brothers grew up in the same house, shared the same parents, attended the same schools, and had access to identical opportunities. They even chose similar careers and earned nearly identical salaries throughout their working lives. At 65, one brother retired with $1.4 million in investments, a paid-off house, and complete financial freedom. He spends winters in Arizona, helps his grandchildren with college costs, and never checks prices at restaurants. The other brother retired with $180,000 in savings, a mortgage with 12 years remaining, and constant financial anxiety. He works part-time at a hardware store because Social Security doesn't cover his expenses. He lies awake at night calculating whether he can afford both his medications and his property taxes. Identical genes, identical upbringing, identical earning power, radically different outcomes. The divergence happened entirely in their 40s. The divergence didn't happen in their 20s, when both brothers were too young and too broke to make meaningful financial progress. It didn't happen in their 30s, when both were building families and careers with similar approaches. And it didn't happen in their 50s, when the trajectory was already locked in. One brother made a series of decisions during that decade that seemed small at the time. The other brother made different decisions that also seemed small. Neither realised they were determining the entire shape of their remaining lives. First, let me explain the mathematics that make your 40s so disproportionately powerful. Your 40s sit at the intersection of three financial forces that don't align at any other point in your life. Force 1. Peak earning power. For most professionals, income reaches its maximum between 42 and 55. Your 40s represent the years when you have the most raw material for building wealth. Force 2. Remaining compounding time. At 40, you have 20 to 25 years until retirement. That's enough time for money to roughly quadruple at historical market returns. A dollar invested at 40 becomes $4 by 65. At 50, you have 15 years. A dollar becomes $2.50. At 55, just 10 years. A dollar becomes $2. The compounding multiplier drops rapidly. Force 3. Expense stabilization. By your 40s, many major expenses have peaked. Children become more independent. The house fits comfortably in your budget. These three forces create a decade of unusual leverage. The person who captures this alignment builds substantial wealth. The person who misses it faces constraints that cannot be overcome. Second, let me show you the specific numbers that illustrate this leverage. Consider someone who reaches 40 with $100,000 in retirement savings. They earn $110,000 annually and could reasonably save 15% of their income, or $16,500 per year. If they save that 15% from age 40 to 65, investing in diversified index funds returning 8% annually, they'll accumulate approximately $1.35 million by retirement. Combined with Social Security, comfortable retirement with a significant margin. But if they decrease contributions during their 40s to fund lifestyle expansion, averaging just 2%, then panic at 50 and save 20% through retirement, they accumulate only $590,000 by 65. Their comfortable 40s cost them $760,000 in retirement wealth. The decade of decisions created a gap that a decade of correction could not close. But here's what most people don't realize. 5 specific decisions during your 40s account for almost all of this difference. And decision 1 and 2 alone can cost you over $1 million. Coming up next. Third, the first 2 decisions that determine everything: housing and vehicles. Your 40s often bring an urge to upgrade your living situation. The kids are bigger. You've earned success. The mortgage feels manageable. This housing upgrade might be the single most consequential financial choice you make in your entire life. The family that upgrades from a $350,000 home to a $600,000 home increases their monthly housing cost by roughly $1,800. That's $21,600 annually that cannot be invested. Over 25 years from age 40 to 65, that compounds to approximately $1.1 million in lost retirement wealth. The house upgrade literally costs $1 million in retirement money. They think they're spending an extra $1,800 monthly. They're actually spending over $1 million in retirement wealth. The second decision involves vehicles. The family running two $45,000 vehicles instead of two $28,000 vehicles has $34,000 more in debt, higher insurance and expensive repairs. Over time, this vehicle premium costs $200,000 to $400,000 in retirement wealth. Just these two decisions, housing and vehicles, can eliminate over $1.5 million from retirement. Most people make both upgrades without ever running these numbers. Fourth, the remaining three critical decisions. Decision 3, children's education. Your 40s include the most expensive child-rearing years. Some families take on Parent Plus loans exceeding $100,000 for prestigious universities. Others cash out retirement accounts. Others stop contributing entirely during college years. Each mortgages the parents' retirement to fund the children's education. The children graduate into peak earning years. The parents enter their 50s with depleted savings and barely a decade to recover. Decision 4, career risk tolerance. Your 40s present opportunities for career moves that could significantly increase income. The income difference between staying comfortable and pursuing growth can exceed $30,000 to $40,000 annually. Over 10 years, that's $400,000 in additional earnings. Decision 5, lifestyle inflation. Your 40s bring social pressure to display success. Colleagues take elaborate vacations. Neighbours renovate kitchens. Friends buy boats. The difference between resisting this pressure and embracing it typically exceeds $1 million in retirement outcomes. But until you hear about the most shocking part, and this is what nobody tells you about lifestyle inflation, coming up in 2 minutes. Fifth, let me show you exactly how these decisions compound through two real families. David and Christine married in their late 20s. By 40, they had $185,000 in retirement accounts and earned $165,000 combined. David pushed for upgrading their home from $320,000 to $575,000. Christine felt hesitant but agreed. The upgrade increased monthly costs by $1,650. They reduced retirement contributions from 15% to 6%. 2 years later, they upgraded both cars. When their first child enrolled at an out-of-state university, they took Parent Plus loans rather than choosing a more affordable option. Every individual decision seemed reasonable. By 50, their retirement accounts held $240,000, only $55,000 more than at 40. By 65, they'd accumulated $685,000. The retirement projections showed they'd likely run out of money by 82. Robert and Jennifer looked identical at 40. Income of $155,000, savings of $165,000. 2 children. When Robert suggested upgrading homes, Jennifer pushed back hard. They stayed put. The $1,650 monthly difference flowed to retirement. They bought used cars. Their children attended state universities with scholarships. By 50, they had $580,000. By 65, $1.65 million. House paid off. Complete freedom. The mathematical difference wasn't earned by different incomes. It was earned by different 40s decisions. Sixth, here's what's most striking about these two stories. During their 40s, both families felt equally satisfied with their lives. Research consistently shows lifestyle inflation provides only temporary happiness boosts. Within 18 months, people adapt to their new normal. And David and Christine didn't enjoy their 40s more than Robert and Jennifer. They just spent more. The additional spending provided no lasting satisfaction, while permanently constraining their remaining decades. The psychological trap is feeling like you've earned the right to enjoy your success. After 20 years of working, the impulse to finally live well feels justified, but the upgraded house feels exciting for 18 months, then feels normal. The luxury car provides a thrill for a year, then becomes just a car. The discomfort of 40s frugality lasts 10 years. The reward lasts 30 years or more. The pleasure of 40s indulgence lasts 2 years. The consequence lasts 30 years or more. Seventh, picture yourself at 70 years old. You're sitting on a porch or in a living room. The morning is quiet. In one version of this future, you're thinking about which grandchild you'll visit this month. You're planning a trip somewhere you've always wanted to see. You're relaxed because unexpected expenses don't threaten your stability. In the other version, You're calculating whether this month's social security check will cover your medications. You're worried about what happens if your car needs repairs. You feel anxious about an uncertain future with limited options. Both versions of you made their 40s decisions decades earlier. Both are living with the consequences. Which version you become depends almost entirely on what you do between 40 and 50. Not on luck, not on income. On decisions about housing, vehicles, education, career, and lifestyle that compound, just like money does. Your 40s will end eventually. The decade will pass whether you make intentional choices or default choices. The only question is which version of your 70-year-old self you're creating. Now here's the bigger truth behind all this. You're not just learning about financial decisions. You're learning that your 40s represent the last window where time remains your ally. You're not just choosing between houses or cars, you're choosing between two completely different final decades of life. Think about it. The families who resist lifestyle inflation in their 40s don't feel deprived. They feel smart. They feel like they're building something. They feel like they've cracked a code their peers don't understand. And 25 years later, they were right. They built freedom while their peers built obligations. That's the real difference. Not intelligence, not luck, not income. Just the willingness to delay gratification during the one decade when delay creates exponential returns. Your 40s decisions will echo through every remaining year of your life. The house you choose at 43 determines the options you have at 73. The car you buy at 45 shapes your retirement at 75. Every no to lifestyle expansion in your 40s is a yes to freedom in your 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's not sacrifice, that's strategy. If you're in your 40s right now and feeling behind, or if you're approaching your 40s and want to do this right, I made a video showing how to retire by 2030, starting from wherever you are today. Aggressive timeline, real strategies, specific steps you can take this month. It's built for people who refuse to accept a stressed retirement, people who are willing to make uncomfortable decisions now to create freedom later. Click the video on screen, subscribe for more truth about money, drop a comment with your age and biggest takeaway. I'll see you soon.